Can you imagine a moment more personal, more intimate than welcoming a new life into the world? A moment where you're at your most vulnerable and need the people you trust the most by your side. Now imagine having that moment disrupted by someone who should be there to support you. This is a story that begins 3 months ago, a story of one woman's journey to motherhood, and the plan she meticulously crafted to ensure the birth of her third child would go as smoothly as possible. She, a woman in her 30s, already a mother to 2 sons, had a clear vision. Her husband would drive her to the hospital. Her mother-in-law would pick up her mother, her children, and her grandmother. Both her mother-in-law and her own mother were to accompany her in the delivery room, while her grandmother would watch over her 2 sons in the waiting room. Everyone was in agreement with this plan. Her mother had been with her for the births of her 2 sons, a calming presence amid the chaos and panic. Particularly during the birth of her second son, when she almost bled out on the table, it was her mother who kept her calm. She needed her mother there for this birth too. Then the day arrived when she went into labor. The phone calls were made, the plan set into motion. But an hour and 15 minutes later, her mother-in-law arrived at the hospital, alone. She claimed it was too late to disturb everyone else, despite it being only 9:30 in the evening. The woman, understandably distressed, insisted that her mother-in-law stick to the plan and fetch her mother, but her pleas fell on deaf ears. Her mother-in-law refused, citing the drive as too much of a hassle. In a moment of frustration and disappointment, she banished her mother-in-law from the delivery room and declared her dead to her. The resentment she felt towards her mother-in-law for disregarding their plan and prioritizing her own comfort over the woman's needs was overwhelming. This was a sentiment that she felt would not fade easily. Her mother-in-law was angry, arguing that her mother had already experienced 2 births and that it was her turn. But the woman was firm. She had made her plan clear and her mother-in-law had agreed to it. But when the time came, she had chosen to prioritize her own needs over the woman's. So, who was in the wrong here? Was the woman justified in her anger, or should she have been more understanding of her mother-in-law's needs? In the end, it all comes down to the importance of respecting the wishes and needs of the person at the center of the situation. When someone entrusts you with a role in their life-changing moment, it's crucial to honor that trust and fulfill your promise. Failure to do so can lead to resentment and broken relationships, as is the case in this story.